All right, guys, let's see here. Do we have video? We got audio. And there we go. We got video. Okay, what was image 2? That was to cover up chat if need be. Okay. Yep. All right. So let's see. Dashboard is still coming up. Let's see here. Live stream YouTube. YouTube looks good. We'll do a YouTube test chat. Test 1. And then over in Restream app, test 2. There's the YouTube chat and the Twitch. It's getting both of those, so send the Twitch test. And that's good. Okay. So I can close Restream out. I can close YouTube out. I can close Twitch out. Kick looks good. I keep Rumble up for video monitoring. And Rumble is still showing the splash screen. Let's refresh Rumble. Okay. There it is. So I need to pop its chat out. Let's see, which one are you? Ah, good. Okay, just refresh the other one. I got pop-out chats open for Kick and Rumble. And it looks like we're ready to go. All right, so exciting day today because of not this game. World of Warcraft Season of Discovery Phase 2 launches today at 3 p.m. my time. So I will be hopping over for that. So we don't have a whole heck of a lot of time here for Wrath of the Lich King today, but we do have about the normal time that I've been streaming lately. So we're going to try and knock out the honor hold quests here, and then I might stream later on today my Season of Discovery experience. I'm still a little bit iffy on that because I'm totally comfortable streaming like on my own by now. I'm not 100% comfortable streaming with like guildies and stuff like that. So I don't know. Sometimes things take a long time for me to get used to the idea of before I'm ready to do them. So we'll see. Maybe I'll stream, maybe I won't. But for right now, we're focused on Wrath of the Lich King. And we're going to go... What does this want? Fifi? I would say Feifei doggy treat. What is that about? Mysterious. I don't see it up here. Oh, isn't it digging for prayer beads? Okay, Feifei stole the prayer beads and buried them somewhere. Warrant Officer Tracy Proudwell. That's who we're looking for. Alright, Tracy. It's your dog. Tell us what you know. I heard that your dog Feifei took Klaatu's prayer beads. Oh no, my Feifei would never take someone else's things. He's a good dog. He just needs attention sometimes. If you give him a treat, then you see. Ah, okay. Okay. Well, we're off to a bad start. I don't know what to do immediately. Let's go do something that's a little bit more straightforward. Cleanse trampled skeletons, 8 of them. See, that makes sense to me. Just give target, seek death. Okay, we need to head off to this vector. Try to shoot the gap on these guys. There we go. We're level 61. And we're moving right along, man. I've been enjoying the hunter. I'm just repeating myself, I guess, but it really has been a good time. Ah, look at this. Okay, hold on. We got stuff here to... Trampled skeleton. Ah, okay. So this is like old bones from past wars. There we go. Let's get this guy. $240 crit off of steady shot. Is that what it's called? I'm new to it. Yeah, steady shot. Okay, so these are old Draenei that got raffle stomped by the orcs. I can't seem to get that one. So, anybody watching, I'm just kind of interested. Man, I hesitated because I realized I sound like a YouTuber fishing for comments. But I'm genuinely curious. What are you guys leveling for your Season of Discovery characters? Like, my main, I am absolutely dead certain about my main at this point in time. I'm really enjoying the warrior. I'm not going to lie, I think a big part of that is the fact that warriors are OP as heck. In Classic in general, and certainly Season of Discovery. But after that, I'm just not sure. I don't know who my quote-unquote primary alt is going to be. I've never done that before. My guild was asking about that, and I like that they asked it because it forces me into a different kind of thinking. In the past, I didn't know this until my guild requested, but in the past, I've had my main and then kind of all of my alts, just sort of whoever I felt like playing at the time or whatever profession I needed. Because my alts are kind of utilitarian, you know, they're there for the professions, and then aside from that, there's the fun factor of just I feel like playing a rogue today, or or something like that. So in this case, and it makes total sense. I'm not surprised at all. I'm more surprised that that this is sort of jarring my thinking a little bit. But because level 25 to level 40 is going to take quite a bit longer than going from 1 to 25. And we're a guild that is, even though it's casual, kind of interested in progression. We're trying to find out who everybody's main is for this phase, because sometimes that changes. And who their primary alt is, so that the guild leaders can start looking at raid compositions and stuff, right? It totally 100% makes sense. I would even say that I anticipated this. It's even been in my own thinking, but somehow, some way, when pressed for the question, what's your primary alt? I'm like, I don't know. You know? So, I'm trying to decide on that, and I'm going to talk about that because sometimes, even if there's absolutely nobody watching right now, just talking out loud as if you're talking to somebody, explaining it as though you're speaking to somebody else, it gets you outside your own head, and it can kind of help map out some decisions. So I'm going to go through the alts that I'm interested in, why, and then hopefully kind of maybe come to a conclusion. So, number one, there is Shadow Priest. Now, I have to admit, the biggest pull for me on Shadow Priest is nostalgia. I used to play a priest. And so I think if that's nostalgia is not going to carry the day. So I have to decide, do I really want to play Shadow Priest because it's Shadow Priest because of the mechanics? Or do I want to play because to some degree that's a little bit of where my identity is at, so to speak, you know? And I think it's more because that's a little bit of where my identity is at. Okay, so we got Path of Glory complete. What's next? I'm out here. I guess we might as well go to Weaken the Ramparts. We need Gargomar's Hand, Omar's Hoof, and Nizan's Head. Okay, so we're going to have to fight our way down there. Okay, so then, now, on top of that, within our guild, there's a number of priests. I need to probably analyze that for myself. I'm kind of going off of one person's take on it, and I'm telling you, there's zero reason to think that that person would be duplicitous. This is a good dude. I like him. But just in general, when you're leaning on other people's takes, you are, by default, accepting their biases, how they see things, what their perception might be. And sometimes perception is not truth. So I need to probably take a look and see what the priest structure is in our guild. Look at who is doing mains for priests and stuff. But I'm kind of actually, I'm just sort of, off the information I have right now, I'm leaning away from priest. Now there's one other thing about the priest. And this would be legit to me. It would be mechanical oriented. Whenever I say mechanics oriented, I mean like it's the class that's appealing to me. And that's if I can get a strong caster dot class working in Shadow that is on par or better than Warlock, I would take it. Because that, I'm going to segue here. That's the other thing. If Affliction Warlock, Affliction is the only thing I am willing to play with Warlock. It's the only thing that appeals to me. If that ends up being good, that's a strong pull for me because that kind of mechanic, even in other games, the idea of stealing health to feed yourself while also doing damage is just something that I've always really liked. Let's go ahead and put a heal on Ralph. But I hate the demonology aspect of it. What's up, Wasim? Just now seeing you. How's it going, homie? Hope life's treating you well, man. I don't know why I said homie. That just came out. I have a lot of influences from back in my life, so sometimes I get into certain modes. And I'm just riffing right now, trying to decide who my primary alt is going to be in WoW Season of Discovery. So I'm talking about Warlock. And I like the Affliction. I don't like, what is it called? Not Chaos. It's called Destruction. I don't like Destruction. Because even if it's more powerful, in my mind, if I'm going to play Destruction, I should just simply play a mage. That's just kind of how it's situated in my brain. So I don't like Destruction. I definitely don't like Demonology because it bothers me. Like it literally bothers me. I don't have any. It's religious purposes, I'm sure. You know, but also the world that we live in. Some of the things I hear about what people are doing and how they're behaving, and There's some truly disgusting things going on out there that I've even heard atheists say the best explanation they have as a non-believer is demons. You know, so I keep seeing people talk about witchcraft in a positive way and how they're witches and stuff, and it's not something I want to dabble with, man. Right? So, so then I'm not. Demonology is out for me completely. Yeah, Wasim, that's exactly what I'm referencing. I like the damage over time aspect, and I am thinking about Shadow Priest and Affliction Warlock, and I'm saying that because I don't like demons at all, if Shadow Priest is anywhere somewhat is even competitive, then I would play the Shadow Priest over the Warlock. But Affliction Warlock does appeal to me, so that's on the cupboard. So then, moving down the list, I have a level 25 rogue that I've enjoyed. I think he looks cool. I've gotten him geared up a little bit, although it's all about to go out the window because everything's going to be mutilate and he needs daggers. But he looks good. I think rogues look fantastic as a class. I think they're a lot of fun in PvP. I have heard they can be a little bit stale in PvE, but I need to experience that for myself before I really know. For anybody else listening, Wasim said Affliction Lock is the dot class. The only other one really is Shadow Priest. Yeah, exactly. And that's more heals. Oh, get this guy. Oh, my mana's low. Okay, switch over to aspect of the Viper. There we go. So I've enjoyed the poison aspects also of Rogue. That makes it kind of a damage over time class a little bit. The bleeds are going to get nerfed. I can't seem to get Envenom off very routinely. It's like stuff dies too quick, so I really need to see that in a raid environment. But the times that I have been able to use it, I'm impressed. If you get a 5-point Envenom off, you can watch that health bar just tick down rapidly after that. But stuff really is dying too fast for me to be able to routinely see that. So there's Rogue. What else do I have at 25? I have my Paladin. And it seems a little bit odd to me, but that might end up actually being my primary main. It seems odd because I'm maining the warrior, so that would be 2 priest classes. Plate classes. But the Paladin, I think, has potential as an AoE tank for this phase that the warrior doesn't. And so my warrior would be DPS. My Paladin would be a protection tank. Right? So I'm kind of waiting to see what people say post-release about Paladin. But that's a real possibility. And to be honest, I think I've even spoken about it in terms of Wrath of the Lich King, that I would probably love to have a warrior, a paladin, and a death knight. I think these plate classes, they just appeal to me. And you get these different kind of play styles. Let's see, do we have any named characters over here? We do not. So I've pretty much cleared the area. Let's move up into the Citadel itself, I guess. Let's take this guy down. Alright, so I can tell alright, just by talking out loud about it, I'm leaning towards Paladin. What else is there? There's Fire Mage, which I haven't even begun one. But I'm curious about Mage. You know what? I should not... My guild needs one. My guild needs a Mage. But I don't really know if I would like it or not. I'm curious about leveling one to at least 25 to see what I think. But I don't think I should name that as a primary ult because I'm more in a curiosity factor there. It's not fair to say that, yeah, I'm going to play this class. I have the Hunter, but we have a lot of Hunters. So I don't know if I would want to saturate us anymore. Even though by playing this character right here, it's probably the class I'm the most familiar with. Oh, time to move back over to Hawk. What other classes are there? I'm not too interested in playing a druid right now, even though druids are strong in everything. Like, I've never seen that before. Maybe paladins have experienced it, but I didn't play it at the time. But all three specs for druid are fantastic. But I know that for me, because I've played druid in the past, the only one that appeals to me is feral. Balance feels boring to me. I don't know if it's... I don't have a lot of experience in it, so I don't know if I'm right about that or not, but from the impression that I had from toying around with it back in the day was that it was boring. Well, who do we have here? Drill Master Zurich. Okay, now we're starting to get these guys that I need. So, feral would be the only thing I'm interested in. Well, that's not true. I might be interested in the healer aspect. What's that called? Resto? Yeah. Bro, are you gonna farging fire or not? I don't have him. There we go. He's an elite. We gotta make up for lost time here. There we go. It's all over but the crying now. Excellent. Okay, so that's one. No, that guy didn't count for anything. Oh, how frustrating is that? Was it another quest, maybe? I don't know, I've completed a lot of these. That's aggravating. Alright, what other classes are there in SOD? Let's see, I've gone over Hunter. Let's see, Warrior, Paladin, Hunter, Mage, Rogue, priest, druid. We don't have shaman on Alliance, and that's what I'm playing as. Okay, well, from all those classes, Paladin is the one that I seemed the most firm on, so I think I should go with that. And that would be perfect too, because those are the two classes that I've leveled the most. They're the best geared. I've played them the most. Okay, I think I figured that out. Wasim says, I've only ever played 3 classes: Hunter, Death Knight, and Fire Mage. Ah, crud. I almost killed everybody, but not quite. What kind of Death Knight did you play, Wasim? All 3 of those specs look interesting to me. Alright, good grief. The aggro. There is no safe harbor in Outlands. Unholy Death Knight, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a damage over time class, isn't it? Am I wrong about that? Maybe it's more of a res the army of the dead pet class. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's pets. There's some dot components to it, though, if I remember correctly. And blood is the self-healing, and frost is like the mitigation damage soaking spec, if I remember right. Wrong button. Okay, so where am I at? I'm right here. Is this a dungeon? It is a dungeon. Doggone, I've been wasting all my time. I don't want to do that just yet. That'll be like the last thing I do. Shoot. Where's this dog buried the prayer beads? I have to find some kind of a treat. Let's pop this open and just read it. Anchorite Barada plans to exorcise the corruption from Colonel Jules and will require an assistant for the task. Such an assistant must be prepared. I am ashamed to admit that my prayer beads were lost in Honorhold's courtyard. I believe the dog Feifei stole them and buried them, but I do not know where. If you speak with his master, Warrant Officer Tracy Proudwell, perhaps she will know where Feifei hides his stolen treasures. Maybe she sells the treats. This is a grift if I ever saw one. A racket. He's a good dog. He just needs attention. Sometimes if you give him a treat, then you will see. Okay, so here he is.
Farewell.
Delicious and nutritious. Where do I get this son of a gun? Fei doggy treat. Quartermaster. Have you got any doggy treats? This is a dumb quest. Let's look up the internet. Fei doggy treat. It's a quest item. It can be purchased in Hellfire Peninsula at 5662. From whom? Did they give me an ability? No. It costs Silken Thread and Maiden's Anguish. What? This thing is confusing. You do not have to buy this item to complete the quest. You can simply go outside, go to the back of the inn. There will be a lootable pile of dirt. There. Finally.
See you around.
What an annoying quest. Here it is. Bam. I remember that now. When I saw it, the way the loot looked, it jogged my memory. Alright, we're going to turn in these quests. Looks like an old gift is still needs to be done. I really can't afford to get into a dungeon. I need to be briefed today.
Warm wishes to you. Favor the road traveled by feet.
Well, look, chat. Let me say thank you, because just by the nature of being, existing, I was able to talk my way through what was otherwise kind of a befuddling situation for me. And I'm still kind of stunned that it was befuddling to me. I guess it was like, it was a little bit overwhelming, but I know what I want to do now. And there's still some things on the table, particularly with Shadow Priest and Warlock, that I need more info about as the season unfolds. I thought there was another question mark here. Oh, it's out this way. But I was able to talk my way through it and finally settle on exactly what I've been doing, like kind of what I started doing. I started that game, Season of Discovery. I started that wanting to know, which class do I prefer, the warrior or the paladin? I wasn't too interested in the healing aspect. You know, I played priest before. I was kind of burnt. I didn't want to heal. Now I don't really. It's not a terrible idea to me, but it's not my preferred. But it's a little bit more palatable than what it used to be. But whenever I first started out, I was like, I don't want to heal.
Have not forgotten us. Be kind to those less fortunate. Remember the lessons of the past.
I wanted to DPS and I wanted to tank. But I did not know which class will I prefer the mechanics of. Now playing warrior, I can see the DPS is better. There's a higher ceiling. Just because of the inherent nature of the warrior is unique in its ability to scale with gear. No other class comes close. But Paladin is very straightforward and easy, in my opinion, with its DPS class. Which whenever you make something easy, if you think about your brain as being kind of like computer memory, RAM, you have like a finite amount of focus in order to multitask. Well, the Paladin takes up a lot less RAM to run its DPS ability than Warrior does. Therefore, and I think that's by design, therefore allowing the Paladin to kind of pay attention to the rest of the raid, this is theoretically, to be able to provide things like Blessing of Freedom, Blessing of Protection, throw a heal on a healer who needs it, look at aggro, right? So I think Paladins are actually excellent off-tanks for this reason. But there's a real good chance that they're going to be the best tank period in this phase. But Warriors, they do things with tanking that Paladins can't do. Their damage mitigation is better. I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like they have more tools for single target threat production. So anyway, but I guess getting back to my main point, I started these two classes to level them side by side to find out who I like more. Now I'm still at a point where I'm like, I kind of favor the Warrior right now, but I would be happy with either. So I still haven't fully decided. I'm still learning the classes. Now we have new talents that I'm going to have to go into and learn the abilities. I really like, man, Season of Discovery has been fantastic for me because it level caps you. You have tons of time to just incrementally learn. What am I looking for here? We need to go Fell Spirits. We got the Longbeards out here, Avru, Missing Missive, and the Temple of Telemot, and then here's the Shattered. Okay, so we need to head out into this section. We're going into areas that we haven't been yet. So I should, I guess the point being, I should just stick with that. That was my original plan. Man, it's just incredible to me. Like I get pissed at myself. I'm kind of like disappointed at myself that it took this much for me to talk my way through something to find out that what I wanted to do was my original plan. Like I had to remember what my original goals were. Grenadier, my goodness. Oh, that's right, Wasim. I forgot that you were a Niners fan. My daughter is a Niners fan. So, I'm pulling for you guys. I'm pulling for you. But if I were to place money, I would bet against you. Just because Patrick Mahomes, man. And I don't know how to put this, because, like, I think I'm a little bit different in this area. Most of the Niners fans I know, they hate the Cowboys. Hate them. And I'm a Cowboys fan. I have never hated the 49ers. I've got like respect for the 49ers. I like the West Coast offense. I like Walsh. Did I blank his name? Did I get that name right? Sometimes I blank his name. The guy that invented the West Coast offense. I think it's George Walsh, but sometimes I flipping forget. I like, back in the 80s, I loved watching Joe Montana. I loved how the West Coast offense worked. I thought it was smart. I liked Ronnie Lott and Jerry Rice. Right, so, like, I don't hate the Niners at all. They're a rival, and right now, they're a direct hurdle to the Dallas Cowboys. But the Dallas Cowboys are a direct hurdle to themselves. You know, so I don't really loathe the Niners like a lot of Cowboys fans, I think, might. But I like Kansas City too. I think Andy Reid is an absolutely fantastic coach. I think the ironic thing in this Super Bowl, man, is that you have the Kansas City Chiefs who look more like the old Joe Montana 49ers, including the scheme, than any team I've ever seen since the Joe Montana 49ers. And you've got them matched up against the 49ers, who are now under a Shanahan coaching style, which I like too. I really appreciate Shanahan's approach to the game. I liked his dad also. But it's different. So I think that's interesting. You have the torch of the OG from San Fran being held by the opposition. And they look like the 49ers. They play like them. They got players on their team that make me think of some of those old greats. And I think you're up against it. And so if it came down to money, I would bet against you. I just think the smart money is on KC. But I can't quite say I hope San Fran wins because of Super Bowls, right? It gives them another Super Bowl. And as a Dallas fan, I'm like, no. But because my daughter is rooting for them, and you've been a viewer on this channel and I've talked with you, so therefore I feel like, like I know you more than I know a stranger. It makes me those are things that make me kind of pull for the Niners, Bill Walsh, that's it. Thank you, Wasim. I feel like an idiot, man. So Wasim says Bill Walsh, the rivalry started in 81. Yeah, exactly, with the catch. Yep. Mahomes and Chiefs are also a great side. Yeah. So it's going to be a really fantastic matchup. It's the matchup I was hoping for. I thought the Ravens were going to go, and I felt like the Ravens just had your number, man. I thought they were going to tune your clock like they did the last time. It's not because they're so much better. It's because of the matchups. There's like this phrase in boxing, styles make fights. And I think that the Ravens matched up against everything that you guys do in ways that just absolutely put you at a disadvantage. But the Kansas City San Francisco matchup is the most exciting matchup. Talk about a chess match. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And you don't get that every year, so I'm excited about it. I am excited about it. We'll see how it goes. To the greatest extent that I can, Wasim, best of luck to you. What is going on here? There we go. Wasim says, I thought Ravens too, especially after they beat us up at Christmas. Yeah. Oh gosh, we got so much aggro. Oh no. If I remember right, these things do incredible DPS. Oh, I did all of that without aspect of the hawk, man. I tell you, it would be kind of, I think a little bit heartbreaking if San Fran can't close the deal here, because they're, in some ways, they're starting to remind me a little bit about like the Bills. They've been knocking on the door for a while and they can't seem to close the deal. The deal. I remember when they were there with Harbaugh, the Harbaugh Bowl. You know, they were up. That weird thing happens at halftime, and then they lost. You know, and it just seems like they've been so close for years now, and they can't quite seal the deal. And to have that much talent and ability and be that well coached. Like, see, this isn't me saying that they're lacking something. It's more like unfortunate circumstances or the quality of teams that they're running into. You know, I felt like that Ravens team played well enough to win in the AFC Championship game. But dang, Pat Mahomes. Well, what are you going to do about that, you know? A few years ago, the Bills played well enough to win, but again, Pat Mahomes. I have never seen a man jump sideways, Superman, and throw like a 40-yard pinpoint touchdown pass. That defies every single mechanic known to mankind whenever it comes to quarterbacking. How do you do that? That dude's an alien. That guy only half human. You know, so it's just tough. It's been a tough set of circumstances for San Fran, but maybe this will be it. They're up against it. They will have earned it if they get a win. Imagine if they win in a blowout somehow. Maybe there's something wrong with the Chiefs that we don't know. They didn't have the best year. They just kind of the Chiefs make me think of the old Jordan Bulls. They like take it up a notch in the playoffs. They looked kind of meh all year long. The playoffs start and it's like suddenly they woke up. You know? But maybe the magic will run out. I don't know. Good teams make their own luck. Are we anywhere close to... yeah, we are close. Okay. What is this Longbeards? I need to read about it. I don't even see it up here. Weekend, Shatter, the Longbeards. Look for Grimney Longbeard northwest of the Den of Halesh. Okay, so he's just kind of hanging out. Well, it says we're right on a vector for it, so let's see if we can, let's try and be smart. Skirt around this way. That must be him, his camp right here. Hey, Ravager, how far are you going to come?
Hello. Be good. Keep your feet on the ground.
4 Haleshi Windwalkers and 6 Haleshi Talon Guards.
See you soon. Safe travels.
Along with 10 Quillfang
See you
Ravagers.
soon. What's on your mind? Be good.
1 Nether Guard Bitter. And have friendly reputation with Honor Hold. Okay.
Keep your feet on the ground.
So, did we wrap up Honor Hold then? Because it seems like I'm doing quests outside Honor Hold now. I think that I did. I don't know where this Fell Spirits thing is at. But I think this is going to be the last quest I work on, and then I gotta go ahead and log. Let's see, Wasim. Chiefs are struggling offensively, but defensively are strong. Man, they haven't looked like they've been struggling in the playoffs. That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what's weird about them. Like, they struggled during the season, but in the playoffs, they've looked dangerous, man. If the scores are tight, I can see KC winning, but hoping Niners go all out and blow them out of the water. Yeah. Tell me this, Wasim. My impression is that San Francisco, the way that they play, they are a second half team. It's how they set things up. It's their style. They wear you down in the first half and then open it up in the second half. But if that's the case, it's hard for me to see a blowout happening in a way that kind of just demoralizes the Chiefs because you guys are slow starters by virtue of your strategy. But maybe I'm wrong about that. What a story that would be for Purdy, from last draft pick to Super Bowl winner. I'm a Purdy fan, man. That guy is everything I wish Dak was. I have not been a believer in Dak from day one. I analyzed him. I looked at him. I wanted to believe. I think he's got outstanding character. He's an easy guy to root for. But I kept looking at his draft report, and then I looked at how he played, and I was like, no, this guy's got serious flaws that lower the rest of his game. And my fan base really kicked against the bricks on that. They didn't like that. They thought I was full of it. And they tried to present counter arguments and stuff, but their counter arguments were really flawed. So I see Purdy come out, and I see what he does, and I'm like, those are all the things that Dak is bad at. He reads the field well. He performs well under pressure. His vision remains open whenever the heat is on and the game situation is tough. I think, I don't know for sure, but I think he seems to throw with some anticipation. He's accurate. He can lead his receivers. He can throw his receivers open. But I think the most important part is that he knows where to look to find not just the open receiver, but the most open receiver, the right receiver for that play against that defense. And I've really enjoyed watching him. I'll go ahead and switch over to Viper. What do you think about Cowboys' decision to keep head coach? Do you agree? I don't know if I agree. I'm not necessarily a big Mike McCarthy fan, but I don't know what else they could have done. Mike McCarthy's system has done more for Dak Prescott than... It fixed a lot of Dak's problems. I think because of the West Coast style where it marries the footwork, like how many steps you drop, to what time to throw the ball. So it ends up, if I'm right about this, providing a mechanical tool that replaces the anticipatory instinct that Dak lacks. And Dak did things with that football this year that I've never seen him do on a consistent basis before. But even with that, it wasn't enough because he has other problems, particularly when it comes to high pressure not game on the line, but I think he does okay in game. Like if the score is tight and you need Dak to take you down the field and get you a winning field goal, he's capable of doing that. It's more like if entering into the game, the situation is very stressful and it's like you gotta win, or you have a terrible mark against this team, you better correct that. You know, that kind of thing. He falls apart, man. And so I don't know what to do. What if I was Jerry Jones? I don't know what else I would do, because Mike McCarthy seems to get the most out of Dak Prescott. My conclusion, though, as myself, is that shiznit ain't good enough. So you should fire both of them and go back to throwing darts at the draft, looking for a QB. You know, because what you got right now it's not good enough. I think of it like NASCAR. In NASCAR, it's kind of a Ricky Bobby phrase, but you know, if you're second, you're last. You could be inches behind the leader and not good enough, and that's how I see Dak. He's a good quarterback, but he's never going to win a Super Bowl unless everything else around him goes right. He needs to have like a 2000 Ravens kind of situation. And he commands too much money for that to ever happen. So then if my theory is correct and you are never ever going to reach the Super Bowl with this combination, then you should just blow it all up and start from scratch. That's what I would have done. Now, who would I have gotten? I don't really know. Eric Bieniemy, maybe. Someone from the Shanahan tree. I think it would be one of those two. Either I'm looking for someone from the Andy Reid tree, or someone from the Mike Shanahan tree. Both of those systems I appreciate. I don't think I would be looking at Bill Belichick or his coaching tree, because those guys have not done well outside of New England. I think I am done. Yes, I am. Okay, so we're going to go back to Honor Hold and turn in what quests I can. Do you stick with Dak then, or change for new QB? Yeah, and I guess I probably answered that. I would go away from Dak as soon as I could. I just don't think Dallas is going to. I'm serious. Like, people talk about, well, you can't. You're it's financial suicide. Then I would do that. I would eat that bullet. I would make him a post-June 1st cut. I would eat the price of his contract for the next year or two. And I would trade probably every piece of talent I've got to try and get draft picks, and I would just start a rebuild. It's not fair to guys like Micah Parsons to be stuck on a team that's in limbo. Right, so I would trade these guys to places where maybe they can have a shot at something, although I'm looking for draft value. So there's, I would try to set them up in good situations, but my needs come first. And then I would blow the entire thing up. I would find a new coach from one of those two coaching trees, and I would start looking for a real franchise quarterback, and I would not stop throwing darts until I hit. I don't necessarily have to use a first-round pick every single year as I'm on the QB carousel, but I would use probably no later than a day 2 pick every single time until I found my guy. And if I spent a top draft pick on a QB the next year, I would still draft another QB further down the list, right? Further down in the rounds, but I would look for somebody until I would always have like some QBs developing on my team until I found the guy. But, that's expected from... understand where my bias is. I think I'm right, but nobody's got a crystal ball. And from day one, I have said, Dak is not the dude. After his rookie year where he set all kinds of records, and remember the NFL sent him and Zeke an honorary Hall of Fame jersey because their rookie seasons were incredible. I said I would trade Dak right now. You can get 2 first rounds for him right now. This dude is not going to be it. He's not going to develop into where he needs to develop. He's got red flag areas that will show minimal progression over the course of his entire career. This guy is worth a lot right now. There's a lot of hype around him. I would trade him to the first team that would give me 2 first-round draft picks, and I believe you'll have a number of them offering. And my fan base laughed me to scorn, you know. But here we are 8 years later, and who was right about that shit, isn't it? Biatch, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. I would definitely trade Dak, but I'm a guy that's been skeptical about Dak from day one. Every single year I've given him a chance. I've opened up my mind and said, okay, let's be fair. And every single year he has done nothing but confirm my criticisms about him. It's not just that I guessed right, like I don't think this guy's going to do it. It's that I very explicitly, in detail and nuance, illustrated what he was bad at, why he was going to be a failure, what he would not progress in. And I've been dead on accurate, man. Somebody should pay me money for that kind of shiznit. I am stunned at how accurate I was calling this from 1,000 yards out. I had to learn a lot about the QB class to be able to put those prognoses together. Where's my turn-ins? Oh, my turn-ins are all out here. And here. And here. Criminy. All right, well, let's go ahead and do the turn-ins, and then I'll drop stream. There are people still, I coined the term. I'm the one that invented it, if you ever see this on the internet. I invented the term Dacolite. And there are still people in that fan base to this day that believe that he's the dude. I mean, it's less and less each year, but my goodness. Like, by this point in time, it should be so clear-cut to you that there's no question. And yet there is. I'm telling you, man, people see what they want to see. And it's hard to get past fandom. Let's see, it's that way. Now, are we going to be able to skirt around? I think yes. We're going to shoot through here. What about you, Wasim? Like, I really like Brock Purdy. I think you found your guy. But eventually, you're going to have to pay him. And he does have some shortcomings. That's why he was Mr. Irrelevant, right? Do you pay him? Because that can change the complexion of your team. When you pay that quarterback a second contract, you got to go short at other positions. You got to go cheap at other positions. I would pay him, but that's me just having a surface level read on the 49ers. I don't watch hardly any NFL at all anymore. They're too woke for me. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I don't know where you're at, Wasim, but for me, I hate woke. I don't agree with it. I think it's very, very, very poor reasoning and has bad outcomes for everybody. And so I've really kind of soured on the NFL. So I really only pay attention to the Cowboys anymore. I don't really watch anything else. So I don't really know. I would like to know what somebody who watches the Niners regularly thinks about paying Brock Purdy. Trying to find someplace where I can open my map up safely. All right. Okay, we're on the right vector. That's these guys right here.
Great to meet you. Safe travels. Be good.
Oh, I've only killed 1 of 10 Ravagers. Gosh, well, really, we ought to do that quest, but I'm kind of pressed for time. I can't. We'll have to get to that next time around. Okay, Wasim says I would pay him too, but we would need to save money elsewhere. Yeah. Yeah, so where do you want to save it? Do you think that Purdy is good enough to do with less skill position players, for example? Or does he need the skill position players? And so you need to cut costs on the defensive side of the ball. Or do you think that Purdy is good enough at pocket mobility to maybe go short, go lesser talent, at least lesser paid talent on offensive line? Maybe this is something I should do. Stream World of Warcraft while talking football. Because I enjoy it. Man, I like football. I get annoyed with it sometimes, but I just like the sport. I can't find my dude. Ah! Where's my dang guy at? Oh, I'm over here. Okay. Shiznit. We overran. Okay, here, right? That's what I'm looking for, that little camp right there. There's a bunch of quests out here.
How may I help? Be careful. Goddess, watch over you.
Greetings, traveler.
I don't know how I'm going to name my future episodes, because I don't know.
Go in peace. May the eternal sun.
You know, like Outlands Part 40.
How? We shall meet again.
I am honored. Be careful.
Okay, Wasim says if he wins the Super Bowl and continues on his course, then we can save elsewhere, maybe at receiver or running back when Christian McCaffrey retires. But I'm only a fan. That's not my decision. That's John Litch and Shanahan's. Yo, I'm flat out. This is not an area that I get into often, like just by my own personal makeup. But I'm telling you, I'm flat out jealous of your front office. John Lynch has been fantastic as a GM. And I liked watching him when he was a player. So, like, I already liked him. Right? And now we're seeing him perform really well as a GM. He seems to work very good with Shanahan. They don't appear to be stepping on each other's toes. That's a really good setup. I don't know how I'm going to live through this. Philadelphia is another organization that oh my gosh, what did I get myself into here? Their front office has done some amazing things Oh no! Oh no! Gosh darn it! No! Stay away from me! Do I risk it? Do I risk it? Cheetah. Okay. Okay. Ralph lived. How do I get to this doggone place? Alright, it's up that hill. It's gotta be up here somewhere. I remember when Philly traded, I don't remember the guy's name, but the quarterback that won the Heisman at Oklahoma, he's part Native American. And he was not a bad quarterback, but he was injury prone. And he already had kind of the book was out on him in the NFL. And Philly traded that guy for 2 first-round draft picks. I don't know how the heck they managed that.
So long. You come back sometime.
Chronakai Christor. Be well. Favor the road traveled by few.
And he's done some, or they've done some other things as well with their front office, where they seem to manage things really well. They make smart trades. They unload players when they should. They seem to be good at identifying talent, and both in free agency and the draft. So these, as you can imagine, as a Cowboys fan, these are the things I pine away for. Well-run organizations.
Be kind to those less fortunate.
The Naru have not forgotten us. Remain vigilant.
I have so many quests. We're at 16 of 25. Boy, naming future episodes is going to be an absolute mess. I'm going to have to kind of decide what area we're questing in, I think. Let's go get this flight path. There's only really, Wasim says there's only really 10 teams or organizations that have any chance to succeed or win Super Bowls. The others are waiting and hoping. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of like, you know, and talking about quarterback with my own fan base. The thing that they're all kind of shell-shook about as Cowboys fans, this is kind of specific to us because they're all terrified of the QB carousel. A lot of them are. Because of what happened to us between the years of Aikman and Romo. And some would say between Aikman and Dak, because they didn't like Romo, but they like Dak. And I'm sitting here saying, well, that's farging NFL normal. I mean, you better suck it up, Buttercup. It only gets tougher from here. What do you mean? Why is that freaking you out? That's NFL normal. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you're looking for one. And you'd better be doggone honest with yourself about whether you have a franchise quarterback or not. Or you're going to pay the price for years on end. Figuratively and literally. And so there's only a handful of teams out there that have a franchise QB because they're rare. They're few and far between. That skill position just requires some uncanny abilities. And so you need to accept the fact that you're probably, on most years, searching for a franchise QB. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. And that sounds a little bit like what you're talking about with the way that organizations are run. There's really just a handful that have a legitimate shot of competing year in and year out. And all the rest of them are kind of they're either waiting for things to come together, or they're shooting themselves in the foot, or they're making bad decision after bad decision and compounding problems rather than being efficient and mitigating issues. There is a quest giver right up around here somewhere. Ah, here he is. Okay. This guy. And that should do it. And I think we can find a place to rest here also.
Good fortune. Do not lose faith.
Oh, not that. Oh, another one. Where is your area of rest? This looks like it would be it. Yes, it is. All right, Wasim, it was really good talking with you, man. If I don't see you before the week is out, good luck in the Super Bowl. There's a chance I'll be streaming SOD later today, but I don't know. It's real sketchy. But that'll be it for today, everybody. We are level 61. We have a whole boatload of quests here, 16 of them. A lot to do in the upcoming episodes. So I will see you all later. Have a great rest of the week. And thank you, Wasim. Wasim says cheers, bro. You too. And have a wonderful weekend, guys.